I watched episode 3 of Star Wars The Acolyte, and it just might be the worst episode of Star Wars yet.
Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Okay, look, I typically try to be more composed about these kind of things, but this time I'm going off script a little bit. Shut up about Star Wars, all right? Shut up about The Acolyte. You don't care about Star Wars. You don't. Stop acting like you care about Star Wars. You don't care, okay? I'm so sick and tired of so many people acting like all of a sudden they are incensed by what's happening in Star Wars. Oh my God, they're ruining Star Wars. You don't care about Star Wars. You don't care. Okay, let me break something down for you. Star Wars came out in the 70s, all right? If you were born in the year 1990, then the original trilogy of Star Wars is not your Star Wars. Your original trilogy is Phantom Menace. The ones that started there, that's your Star Wars, all right? And let me remind you, that Star Wars had Jar Binks, a character that walked around saying shit like Misa Jar Binks. It was stupid. It was dumb because it was made for kids. It's for kids, alright? So stop acting like all of a sudden everyone's so upset because Star Wars is falling off. And Star Wars, the discourse is so dishonest. The complaint here is what? That there's a coven of witches all of a sudden. That's unbelievable.
So in episode 3 of Star Wars The Acolyte, we start off by meeting young May and young Osha. We are going back in time here a little bit, I believe about 16 years. And we are at their village in Brendok, where they live in a coven of female witches. In this village-like community, we have a thriving matriarchy of just women, except for one trans character.
We can't believe that there's in this vast universe, mind you, that's not even in our galaxy, and not even in our time, that this in this vast universe, it's impossible that there's a coven of witches that are thriving. That's impossible to believe. You want to believe in like robots that are sentient and all these kind of things, but you can't believe in a bunch of women running their shit. It's just so disingenuous, and it's such like identity politics of being like, all of a sudden this can't exist in Star Wars. You're talking about wizards walking around with light swords, and that it's the witches part that bothers you, that a bunch of women would be running this stuff. It's just so, everyone who's complaining about this, your arguments aren't even valid. They're not even good. You're complaining because there's a trans character in this.
And funnily enough, this trans actor in this episode is one of the few, I'll say, side characters that actually gets multiple lines of dialogue. No one does womanhood better than a biological man.
They make no mention of that. I didn't even know that until they said that. There's no part in the episode that they even point that out. It's not like there's a moment where she's like, you know what? I used to be a man and now I'm a woman and I'm sorry. It's like you don't even want those people to exist. They make no mention of it. No mention of it. And all of a sudden, that's a problem? You have to do research to figure out, oh, this actress is trans, actually. And that's a problem for you? This is what people are talking about when they're talking about inclusion, all right? The DEI, the I that you hate, this is what they're doing it. This is the inclusion. This is diversity. This is the equity they're doing it. If you guys would just let that stuff go, they wouldn't be pushing it so hard. It's because you guys go out of your way to make this your whole identity. Why do you care? There's actually valid reasons to criticize Star Wars. There's valid reasons, but because you guys focus on this stupid identity politics stuff, you're turning off people who would actually listen to your complaints, because now you guys sound just like a bunch of complaining trolls. It's like, why can't you just criticize the thing for the actual critiques you can make? But you have to criticize it on stuff that doesn't even matter. You want to see more white characters. You don't feel represented. That's the whole fight for representation.
First off, there are 0 white men in this show who are not criminals, basically. All white men in this show are criminals.
Or doofuses.
Both, yes.
Now you get it? Now you understand why people fight for it? Because when you don't see yourself reflected on screen, it actually affects your enjoyment of the thing. Now look, everyone keeps acting like Kathleen Kennedy is ruining Star Wars, and I hate to be the one who has to come up here and defend her, but you guys are attacking it for all the wrong reasons. She's not ruining Star Wars. You guys are. You guys are ruining Star Wars because Star Wars is meant to be something that can be enjoyed by everyone. When it first started, it was only a select group of people that enjoyed it, but now it's opened up, it's become mainstream, and new people are being drawn to it. New audiences are finding it. And instead of being excited that this thing that you used to like that was on the fringes is now something that people want, instead of being excited to welcome new audiences and new fans, you guys are fighting this stupid idealistic battle for stuff that doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Stop acting like everything Star Wars did was a hit, because Star Wars has put out so much nonsense even before they sold it, all right? George Lucas, people hate the fact that the witches birthed these twins by drawing from the Force, and it's like midichlorians. Remember that stupid thing? But everybody's like now acting like they were cool with it. When that came back out in the Phantom Menace trilogy, everyone hated it. But now people act like, oh, all of a sudden it's all cool. People hated those Star Wars because it wasn't meant for them. Every Star Wars generation that complains about Star Wars is because they're finally realizing that, hey, this iteration of Star Wars is not meant for me. This is meant for a whole new other audience. And instead of embracing that, they're acting like a bunch of butthurt trolls. It's like, let it go. This version of it's not made for you, okay? The kids who grew up watching the Phantom Menace trilogy, they are now loving seeing Hayden Christensen come back, because to them, they were like kids when that came out. If you were born in the 1990s and Phantom Menace came out in 1999, that means you were 9 years old when you saw it. So to you, everything was cool. Lightsabers, Jedi, spaceship battles, Darth Maul, all that stuff was cool to you. So now that you're an adult, you're like, hey, I actually like that version because that's the one I saw. If you were born before then you were like the original trilogy. And if you're growing up now, if you're born in 2000, don't even act like you care about Star Wars, okay? Because you have no point of reference. You're just glomming onto it because now it's trendy. Now it's popular. And look, we can have honest conversations about what's happening in corporate media. We can. And those are conversations we should have. But when you guys keep trying to use Star Wars as some kind of barometer of what's wrong, of something you can just point to be like, this is what's wrong, you're just using something that some people actually really enjoy, okay? And even me, who's not a diehard fan, I'm not a diehard fan by any measure of it, okay? But I appreciate what Star Wars has become. Star Wars has created almost its own genre of storytelling, and it's awesome to be able to have that. Let's explore the world. Everyone's always complaining that everything is nothing but reboots and sequels, and finally somebody is making an attempt to do something original. Even if you don't like it, you should applaud the attempt, right? We should be like, hey, at least they're doing something different. This takes place 100 years before the Star Wars of the Skywalker saga, okay? This takes 100 years before that. So therefore, it's like, okay, cool. You're getting a completely different story that's not really affected by that prophecy or that world. And it's like, instead of being like, oh, cool, let's see where this goes. We're 3 episodes in and everybody acts like the sky is falling. Remember, people felt this way about the Phantom Menace also, okay? Jake Lloyd, the little kid who played Anakin Skywalker, was bullied so much he's damn near doesn't want anything to do with that franchise.
Are you in touch with any of the old casts?
Not so much anymore. I've literally I disappeared on purpose, and I do these maybe once or twice a year, and I've only been doing that for the last couple of years.
It's sad to see, and right now in real time, you guys are doing something very similar, and it's like, it's a cautionary tale. Don't let your desire to be selfish with this IP make you shut everybody else out. This is a chance for us all to enjoy Star Wars, and maybe someday they'll make something you're very passionate about and you can come back. If this is not for you, just stop watching. But to all the people who were never fans of this franchise, who are only using this to further politicize a show that, yes, it has some political themes, but right now it's not trying to be that. If you're telling me just seeing trans actors or seeing black actors or seeing Asian actors or seeing female actors is too much for you, it's too woke, then that is the whole point, okay? I believe that the point of Acolyte is so that people like you don't like it. You're not supposed to like it. And maybe that'll help you feel what other people have been feeling the whole time they've been watching this thing, being like, I don't feel like this has anything to do with me. Now you're getting a sense of taste of that. You know what that's called? That's called empathy. You're not used to it because you don't have any, all right? So just everybody chill. It's gonna be all right. And if you're mad and you want to leave comments and you want to downvote things, and fine, bro. Fine. Because the truth is, you can't actually do anything about it. You can just be mad. Sure, take your money and go elsewhere. This franchise will continue without you, okay? If you really think that you guys are the ones dictating what's happening, you're not. If that were the case, you wouldn't see Darth Vader dancing at Disney. That's because that's where they know their money is. It's kids. And the kids are going to like it just fine. And the franchise is going to continue fine without you. You can be a part of it still. You don't have to be this bitter, butthurt person. You can actually still enjoy this thing. Do like what we anime fans do. Just enjoy the thing that you enjoy the version that you enjoy, and if you don't like this version, go find something else. This might just be a filler for you. This is a filler arc. You don't like this filler arc? Wait until they go back to the main storyline, but stop it with all the pseudo rage, angry think pieces. You're not mad, and if you are mad, then you're not really a fan of Star Wars. So just stop it. Just shut up.